So my belief is really about caring and how that's completely foundational to a career in enterprise technology sales, but I think probably in many different professional arenas. And so I wrote a book called Game of Sales, and it talks about a lot of different themes and beliefs I have and like how to be successful in the enterprise sales world.
And when you say caring,
yes,
like define what you mean by that. Like caring's important for operational sales.
Right. And so, it's something that it's not a methodology, right? It really is, a belief or even maybe a personality trait that I had that I've noticed has really helped me time and again over the course of my career. So I've been doing this for about 10 to 15 years. And I thought to myself when I sat down to write the book, like, what are these themes that have enabled me to be successful over time? And that is one of the key beliefs is caring.
Okay, and caring. So you mean caring about the other person, caring about yourself, caring about the work you're doing? Like, what kind of caring? Yeah. What are we talking about?
Well, specifically caring about the client that you're working with, so the company, that the entire company that you're selling to, right? You need to care about that. You also need to care about the individual that you're selling to, their career and their growth.
Right.
Your company, the company that you work for, that you're representing that company in the right way. But also, you need to care deeply about the products and services that you're selling and that specific engagement, like whatever the technology is, that it's going to land in the right way and have a positive impact on the company that you're delivering it to.
Okay. On a scale from 1 to 7, how confident are you that this belief in caring is true?
1 to 7?
1 to 7.
7, for sure.
And a scale from 1 to 7, how important is it for you to believe in things that are true things?
7, I would say, but I think it's hard to know all the time, like, what is true. And, I think there can be some ambiguity, and there are times when you can feel like, when I felt like the idea of caring or the belief has backfired, or maybe not backfired, but been challenging, right? And so that's why I call the chapter for Dare to Care, because it can be tested.
Do you think it's a true belief that you have?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's say Tommy is sitting next to you, and Tommy says, yeah, I hear what you're saying about caring. I work in the same field as you do. I don't particularly care about my clients. I don't particularly care about the job I'm in, but I do a good job and I do it well. And so what's, I don't think caring is really important at all. And I'm a third person. I'm just watching you and Tommy talk.
Right.
You say caring is very important. I say, well, it's not that important. Tommy says, well, that's not that important because we're both getting work done like we're supposed to get work done. And what difference does it make to the client? Just what Tommy says.
Right.
I'm a third person. I just want to know what's true. Mm-hmm. How could I decide, watching you and Tommy talk, what would be more of a true belief?
Right. That's a great question. I mean, when you said Tommy, there are two guys that I work with that I know, like, by the name of Tommy, and they actually both probably would agree with what I'm saying. But let's say if there was a third guy that didn't, I would say, sure, you can absolutely get your job done. I'm sure there are people that are effective, that get it done, and maybe they don't care about, they have no cares. But what I know for certainty is that as you get to the upper echelons and more senior within the organizations that you're working on, you're simply not going to be able to match the experience that some of these senior executives have. Right? They might have 30 years experience in a particular industry, and if you're meeting with them and they can sense you don't genuinely care about their business and your company and the products, like, they will sniff that out in a second, and it will be much harder for you to get things done in a credible way.
How do we know that's true? If Tommy says that, well, I'm in the upper echelon of a company and I sell pencils and I really don't care about pencils. My clients don't know that, but I just really don't care about pencils. But pencils is a way I can afford my lifestyle, my car, my house,
right.
and what difference does that make? How can I, again, a third person, I just want to know what is a true belief, and you and Tommy talk. Is there any way that I could know what's more objectively true, real in this point? What's the reliable? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think it really comes down to the fact that this was one of the chapters that I was like, kind of like, I was sure of it, but
what's the main reason why you believe the belief?
Well, the main reason I believe the belief, I mean, it has come to my aid in so many occasions, and whether I was aware of it or not, right? So when I get into tough situations with the customers, or if I'm making a choice between, let's say, am I going to watch that Netflix thing, or am I going to study more about the product? It just, if you care, it just makes all that so much easier, right?
It's a personal experience.
Yeah, personal experience, but also in anecdotally, and speaking to a lot of other salespeople, right? So I've talked to some of the top salespeople, I think, in the world, right? Some of the people at these at the likes of Adobe, Amazon, Google, IBM, many top startups, Apple, whatever, LinkedIn, and they all agree that this is a really key ingredient.
Do you think, and I just want to know what you think about this, do you think that personal experience is a reliable way to know whether something is true?
I think it's a way, right? I think there's a lot of, other things you need to do, like, research and speaking with other people. But, I think that's like kind of a philosophical question to some extent. And I'm wondering, like, what is there out, that's outside of experience? But I think that it's a decent way, as long as it's coupled with, as I said, research and being able to talk with other people about it and so forth.
So this notion that caring is really important to your work, to your job, to doing things well. Let's suppose, and I'm not saying this is the case, but let's suppose that it was not a true belief, that was incorrect for some reason. Would you be able to find that out? How would you know that was incorrect if it was incorrect? I'm not saying it was incorrect,
right.
But if it was, how would you know?
I think that the process of, like, putting my thoughts out there in the book would be a great way to have that happen. So, for example, someone could come back to me and be like, you know what, Dave, like, I don't agree with this chapter at all. Like, here are all the reasons why that what you said is not correct, and here's my experience and how I've done things differently, and I don't care at all, and been very, very successful. So I think that would be how I would find out that it was false, and I would be totally open-minded, right? If someone came along and is like, we're actually able to disprove that, I would reevaluate for sure.
So you're saying that if someone that you trusted or knew read your book and they read different chapters and they said, I don't think it's correct for this reason or this reason, and if they gave you reasons to your satisfaction, are you telling me that you would, at that point, not believe that caring is an important part of business operations?
I think it would have to be a very strong case, because I've seen so much evidence to the contrary, right? Like, that caring does matter. But yeah, I mean, if there was something else, like maybe there was some other, like, combination of things that amount to it, or if there's some other way that you can do things that equates to that. Maybe that's something that would change. But I would certainly be open to it. But it's funny, because that was this, the chapter we're talking about here. This was the one I was like, it's like, this sounds like a squishy, fluffy part of the book, and it's like, how can I really put this in there? Because I'm really talking about enterprise sales. I'm talking about, like, selling technology and consulting engagements around this for some of the largest companies in the world, for Fortune 100 companies. Like how can you put that in there? I thought to myself, but I was given more confidence once I mentioned, I talked to a bunch of other, like, top people, and they all thought that it was really important. So that's how I arrived at that.
Yeah. So you're saying that other people thought that it was important, and you've bounced through the idea of different people, but if your belief was incorrect,
and clients too, by the way, right?
Clients.
So not just people that do what I do, but also people that are receiving on the receiving end, and they all said that it's they can tell, right?
And interesting that if your belief was incorrect, if it was incorrect, that you would be okay with it, that you would,
Well, I mean, I don't know if I'd be okay with it. I mean, I'd feel silly, right? That I have this belief that's for a long, been building up for a long time, and a realization almost, I would say. It was.
If your belief was incorrect.
Yeah.
How would it change your life? Would you be the same person? Do you think you'd be a different person? What would you do things differently?
I mean, I think I would be different for sure. I mean, this is a pretty core part of it. Like I said, it's not a methodology; it's a belief that it's or a principle, whatever you want to call it, that underlies the way that I approach my work and the people that I work with and the different how I represent my company. So yeah, I mean, it would certainly have an impact.
Well, thank you. That was really nice talk. I really appreciate talking to you, David, and that was excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's great to meet you.